Reactions pouring in after President Trump announced that the U.S. will exit the Iran nuclear agreement. Joining us now from Capitol Hill is Congressman Adam Smith, a Democrat from Washington State. He's also the ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, great to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Can I just get your initial response? How frustrated are you by the president's decision today?
Well, there's two things that are very important. Having listened to the president's remarks, he's not telling the truth, which for this president, of course, is not unusual. But there is no evidence at all that Iran has violated the agreement that they signed. The evidence that Benjamin Netanyahu trotted out yesterday or a couple days ago is that Iran, for a long time, ran a nuclear program, and they lied about it. Well, we all knew that. I mean, that's what pushed us into the negotiations for the JCPOA in the first place. We knew Iran was trying to develop nuclear weapons and that they were lying about it. For the president to come on and say that we're pulling out of the agreement because Iran violated it is wrong. It's dishonest. It's not the reason. There is no evidence that Iran has violated the agreement. And now, with us pulling out of it, there is nothing to stop them from renewing their nuclear program.
How concerned are you, Congressman, that this will lead to violence or military action? I know Emmanuel Macron has talked tough in recent days, saying that by the U.S. pulling out of this Iranian nuclear deal, it would lead to war, it would lead to violence. Is that justified in your view?
There is a huge risk of it, because here's how it plays out. So now there are no constraints on Iran moving forward with their nuclear weapons program. We can sanction them, I guess, but we sanctioned them before and they continued moving forward on it. And then if you're Israel, let's say that Iran says, oh, no, we're not going to do it. Do you believe them? The inspectors are not going to have the same access that they have, because the inspectors got the access they got because of Iran agreeing to the JCPOA, and now it's gone. So the inspectors disappear, and Israel has to trust that Iran isn't going to build a nuclear weapon. And remember, at the time of the agreement, people were saying that Iran was arguably as little as 3 months away from being able to develop a nuclear weapon. I don't know what the timeline would be at this point, but there's certainly a risk. And Israel and Iran are already in a sort of quiet war, if you will, in Syria. They've struck each other there. This has a distinct risk of escalating hostilities in the Middle East, and it spreads further. I mean, Iran supports Hezbollah, which has all kinds of rockets pointed at Israel from Lebanon. What happens there? So, yes, this decision destabilizes the Middle East even further.
Congressman, that's not entirely true. There are other elements in the way here of them deciding to focus further on their nuclear proliferation, or whatever it is that they decide to do here, and that is 5 other nations, including the EU, in addition to that. Are you saying that actually they're irrelevant to this nuclear agreement now, and without the United States it's entirely broken?
It's pretty close. And look, I think the most honest thing to say, and I should have said this up front, about what's going to happen as a result of this decision. The honest thing, we don't know. We don't know exactly what Iran's going to do. But it's hard for me to believe, once the U.S. has pulled out of the agreement, and placed dramatic sanctions on Iran, that is crippling to Iran, regardless of what the other 5 nations do. Even if the other 5 nations agree to keep sanctions off, as they probably will, Iran will still view the agreement as violated. I'm not sure that Russia and China and the nations in the EU are in a position to renegotiate. Iran has already said that they don't want to renegotiate. So Iran, I think, will treat the agreement as broken. And what they do with that, I don't know. But again, even if Israel isn't sure what Iran's going to do, that uncertainty creates danger. Now, again, I'm not going to make any predictions. It's hard to say what's going to happen, but it definitely increases the possibility for further hostilities.
Congressman, the first 2 questions I believe that the president was asked after he signed that memorandum was, how does this make America safer? In your view, is America less safe as a result of this decision?
I think unquestionably, because no matter how you argue it, and again, you can say, well, maybe it won't happen, Iran is now today, after us pulling out of this agreement, in a freer position to pursue a nuclear weapon. And if they pursue that nuclear weapon, that is definitely a danger to the U.S. and certainly a danger to the Middle East. So I cannot see an argument whereas this makes us safer to pull out of this agreement.